Last time on Shadow Piece, the next battle of the terrible War of Darkness started. The Sin of Wrath, Don Sai, and his brother Boo came face to face with the Doctor of the Blackbeard Pirates, the Titanic Captain Doc Q, and his trusty steed Stronger. With their new weapons, the fleet of Death members quickly went on the offensive and showed how powerful they had become. But the Grim Reaper wasn't helpless in any way. His Devil Fruit was very dangerous. Being able to inflict severe damage without the target even knowing what was going on was just unfair. An exchange of attacks began, the favor of the battle shifting with every single action. Both sides had a lot of destructive power, but in the early stages, neither managed to really grab the control of this fight. Sai! Boo! The two brothers called for each other, nodding towards each other, and instantly started the next attack, running towards the Doctor and his horse from both sides for a pincer attack. However, that only worked on a two-dimensional field. With Stronger's Pegasus Devil Fruit, the Blackbeard Pirates could easily escape their attacks and shoot into the sky. They felt safe in the air for a moment until the brothers met paths on the ground again. In a well-coordinated maneuver, Boo catapulted his older brother into the sky at a rapid pace. His dangerous spear pointed upwards and adding a spin to his rise in an elevation. Don't you dare think you can defeat us by simply flying away. Take this, Draconic Pierce! The fiery energy of the pole arm enveloped Sai's entire body, even hurting himself slightly in the process. With the help of Haki, it truly appeared like Sai's body turned into the body of a dragon that was rising into the sky with an open maw, ready to consume its prey. Doc Q didn't even react to all of this. Sure, it was an impressive attack, but all that only mattered if they hit their intended target. Stronger let out a loud noise as he flapped his mythical wings with great power. Pegasi had many magical abilities, but their most powerful one for sure was the ability to control the weather. In this moment, Stronger had already formed a tornado beneath himself and his rider. The twisting, chaotic wind standing in direct confrontation with the fiery whirlwind surrounding Sai at the moment. With every move of his wings, the wind grew stronger, even fiercer, but Sai was no slouch either. He truly showed what it meant to be one of the sins of the Fleet of Death. Who cares if you are an ancient or mythological beast? In all of the tales, the victors were always the same. A fierce scream left his mouth as he overpowered the twister of his opponent. It was always the humans! Heroes always overcame any adversity thrown in their ways, and the Sin of Wrath shot up into the sky, his flames of destruction piercing straight through the right wing of the Pegasus. The Blackbeard pirate duo could barely shift their position as not to be pierced straight through their course, but still, this was the first significant damage that would last even after the battle would be over. All of the force Sai had used made it unable for him to keep his balance in the sky, and he crashed into the ground, leaving behind a crater. Meanwhile, his enemies managed to carefully return to the streets of Hachinosu. Diagnosis: correct left clavicle. Seems like you aren't doing too good, Sai. Doc Q couldn't care less about what happened to his horse. It carried him around, but that's it already. It's not like they really were deep partners or anything. Even when Stronger was still wincing in pain, the Titanic Captain just smacked his shoes into its sides to force it to run towards the intruders. Boo was helping up his brother. With his broken collarbone, Sai would not be able to bring out all of his strength anymore. It was an unlucky fall, and despite him basically denying the flight ability of his enemies, it still felt like they came out of this confrontation with the upper hand. Doro. You think you're the only one with piercing attacks? Try to keep up with this. The trusted partner of the pirates started to gallop towards the invaders, as Doc Q shouted out two technique names, Lance of Sickness and Speed Virus. In his hands, a disgustingly green lance started to form. It almost looked like you could see the sickness move around in his hands. As for the other effect, it was actually aimed at Stronger, who neighed in pain as his feet started to prickle and tingle. With each passing moment, the horse gained more speed. That was the effect of this sickness. However, it also had a rather negative effect. Tingling in the animal's legs were because this was a parasite-based sickness, and these life forms spread and multiplied at an insane rate. Every parasite in his body made him faster, but it also felt like they were eating him alive from the inside. Like millions of ants were inside his body, gnawing at his flesh. Foam started to form in the mouth of the horse, pain making it go insane. Q didn't care at all, as he steered his right with incredible finesse, thrusting his lance at the two brothers. Boo parried the attacks, protecting his brother, but with every second it became harder. Stronger reached speeds that were hard to track even for them, so they had to come up with some sort of plan. Together they managed to stay safe for a while, but before they could form a proper idea, Q's next attack already crawled up to them. After every attack with the Lance of Sickness, viruses dropped on the ground, and with the circular movements of Stronger, a ring of sickness was created. The dangerous and unknown illness encroached into in an intimidating pace. Fuck this! Let's gamble, Sai! Normally Boo wouldn't act rash, but this situation required quick decision making, which neither of them were really known for. He attempted to burn away the disease with his fiery punches, as he knew that heat was often good against viruses and sicknesses. However, his decision was met with laughter from the Titanic Doctor. In fact, in this case, the heat made the circle grow even faster, taking away even more space for the Sin of Wrath and his brother. Oh, shit, I'm sorry, Sai. Boo's mind fell into guilt and despair. He did not want to be responsible for his brother's death, but Sai showed why he was the big brother in this situation. Don't worry, Boo. Your idea was not wrong. He swung his pole arm with unrecognizable one-arm strength and forced huge amounts of armor and haki into his weapon. All you needed to do was increase the heat even more. The fire of his weapon reached temperatures he had never before felt, and it became noticeable for everyone on the island, as everywhere started to get hotter. For a short time, the ring of sickness grew faster and faster, until Sai's monstrous weapon made all of the ground around them melt away. Doro. Now this is what I call heat therapy. Well, aren't you forgetting something? While the two members of the Fleet of Death tried to break through the technique of Q, he himself continued to accelerate his horse. Stronger was already experiencing excruciating pain from the uncountable amount of parasites in his body. Two of them couldn't be seen anymore. Only the sound of a horse's hooves galloping and a maniac's laughter confirmed their existence. Doro, let me just... No one was able to react. The attack was already done when Boo noticed that Sai had been pierced on the left side of his head. His ear was completely missing, and a deep gash where his left eye once was also present. Somehow they had to stop this otherworldly speed, or it really would turn into the Grim Reaper on his horse, sending them to the realm of the dead whenever he wanted to. But this, for now, is the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to more. Right, you can see that this is not a one-sided showdown. Boo and Sai have their advantages, but then there's also Q, who is just like a blank board with all of these sicknesses, all of these mysterious things nobody knows about. I just think this is still interesting to follow, and I don't know who is going to win this fight. What do you think? Who is going to come out victorious? But for now, all that's left to be said from me is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro, out. Bye!